3, 2, 1.
This is The Jungle, an up-close, unvarnished look inside leadership and business strategy. We wade into the real-world leader's face and explore what they do to create a path forward, because that's what business is. Wild, exciting.
It's The Jungle.
Derek, we are back in the jungle. We have some guests here today.
We're back in the jungle with a couple of our star students, Doug. Students. This is crazy. It's a whole new jungle.
It's a special day today.
Special day.
It's a special day on many fronts. We have a special announcement and some special guests. I think we should have some of our guests introduce themselves. I know they'll do that in a second, but let's have our guests introduce themselves. Tyler, do you want to introduce yourself real quick to our legion of fans out there?
Absolutely, Doug. I'm happy to. So my name is Tyler Ernst. I'm a junior student here at Western. I'm double majoring in sales and business marketing and leadership and business strategy. I'll actually be graduating next December, and I've been working on the Bronconess projects for about 10 months now.
Sylvan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'll follow that. My name is Sylvan, and I'm a product design and business strategy student. I'm a junior at Western, and I've been working on this project since about April. And I kind of run the marketing and label design.
So Derek, this is the first time that we've had students on the podcast. Really excited about that. Tyler and Sylvan have been phenomenal students, and they also work in our center. And
Doug, not just on the podcast. You're just saying on the podcast. We handed it over to them.
We did.
We're big on learn by doing and getting experience and giving our students actual real life experiences doing things, practical experience. They took over the podcast today, Doug.
Now I bet everyone right now is wondering to themselves, what's going on, right? This is not normal. So we're here for a very special occasion. You heard maybe something about a project, and you heard something about Bronconess. And so what this podcast is extra special is we have a really exciting announcement that we want to share with the world around Bronconess, but folks might not know what Bronconess is, Derek. I mean, they would be living under a rock if they didn't know what it is, but there might be some that don't know what Bronconess is. Do you want to share with them what is Bronconess?
That's a big question, Doug. Bronconess is a purpose and profit-driven wine brand that is managed and operated by students in the College of Business. So when you go to school at Western Michigan University and you take LBS, which is the major that we're co-directors of, Doug, we put you on actual projects. And one of the experiences you get is running the Bronconess wine brand. So it's a wine brand that's managed 100% by students. And we have import wines, and we are launching new wine. And it's really exciting because students learn by doing, right? They call on customers and have to worry about distribution and logistics and importing, and just really get a lot of experience giving presentations and pitches and selling and in some cases designing labels and everything that goes on, and developing new partnerships and relationships with community members. It's a really impactful way of learning. And for every bottle that the students generate and sell, we generate scholarship money for our students, which is a really special purpose behind.
So the backdrop of the story, to add some more color to that, is this was a project that came out of one of our LBS consulting classes. Mm-hmm. And we had students kind of put together a business plan and a thesis around how you could bring a purpose-driven wine brand to market. 100% of the profits come back to students in the form of scholarships. Last year, we launched in the fall, right around this time last year, homecoming. We launched the first iteration of Bronconess. We got 2 reds and a white that is now sold, or has been sold at Meijer and local grocery stores. It's sold at Trader Joe's across the state of Michigan. So it's been all over the place. We heard recently that our past governor has enjoyed Bronconess. And that's been a really successful initiative. $35,000 in scholarships that our great students have raised for other students. And we've got a really exciting scholarship announcement coming out where we're going to reward two students actually, with two $5,000 scholarships. So an amazing initiative for students in LBS, because they actually get to learn by doing. And part of that learning by doing this semester was a new product launch, a product extension. Is that right, Derek?
Product extension. Yep. New product extension. So let's turn it over and start the turnover process now, because we weren't in the interview. Sylvan, Tyler, who do we talk to today? Product extension, big opportunity. Who do we talk to today?
Yeah, reveal it for us.
Yes. So for our listeners out there, if you keep listening, you're going to listen to a great conversation with John and Apollo Braganini over at St. Julian Winery. The president, his son is the vice president of sales. They've been with us on the project ever since it came in, starting it back in February. Extremely helpful. And so I think what we should do here, Sylvan, is share some quick takeaways, and then we can transition over into that conversation. So the main takeaway that I had from that conversation with John and Apollo is that, especially during a pandemic, there's really a great opportunity for businesses to create a greater good beyond just the product and service you offer. And so for St. Julian, how they've done that, and they're the oldest and largest winery in Michigan, how they sustain that is actually trying to find different ways to give back. So this project is all about impacting college students, the learning. It's not about just making a delicious wine for the community. That's a plus. It's also about advancing that whole higher education model, which really, creates great impact as students go on to have great careers, and it can really give back to the community through that education. So that was one takeaway I had. Sylvan, what did you take away from our conversation?
Yeah, so my biggest takeaway from this conversation was that there's no plan in business. John and Apollo talked about the iterations of the entire process, and I have personally experienced through this process that it is important to trust the process. Everything will come out, but you got to be ready to pivot quickly, and keep going.
So Derek, I think before we go to that really important conversation, we can't let the students off without a few questions. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
I think we need to ask a few questions. So
yeah,
for all the listeners out there, Tyler and Sylvan, you've got to run a real wine brand as a part of your college experience and be fully accountable for those sales and that product launch.
And scholarship money generated for students.
What is that experience like? Walk us behind a little bit of what that experience is actually like.
Yeah, I'll take that first. So I think the really neat thing about this project is that it helps students make the mental switch from being, a college student to being a professional, like, very quickly. When you're in a class, multiple choice quizzes, exams, it can be tough to make that mental switch over to I'm a business professional and I have accountability and consequences at stake. Where this project, it's true. I mean, a complete product launch, making sure bottles get off the shelves, making sure partners are satisfied. Those are all real things that you'd be doing as a professional out in the field. So I think for me, the biggest thing is that this project has really accelerated my ability to, to every day think about myself as a professional and not just a college student. So very appreciative, Derek and Doug, for providing the opportunity, because I think it's been just absolutely instrumental for me.
Sylvan, we want to know from you. I mean, you're the not only a part of this project, but the creative mind and the artistic mind behind this. What do you get out of this?
On top of that, Sylvan, take us behind the scenes of your last week and a half, or week since Monday. Doug lit the entire team up. Go ahead. Talk about, get us behind the scenes, a visual of what you actually do.
Yeah, so going off of that, my involvement with this started back in April, May. Derek asked me he brought up me designing the label, and I thought it was a joke. I just wasn't going to accept it. I wasn't ready for that yet. That's one of the great things about this class and this program is you have to be ready, and it doesn't wait for you to be ready. It's just time to move. So this past week and a half, we fell a little behind. We weren't really quite dialed in for the launch. We didn't know what to expect. This is our first time doing this, and we were expecting things just to fall together. And leading the team of 7 students has also been interesting, because how do we approach that? How do we get them to want to do things? How do we get everyone involved? How do we take this beyond? How do we make sure that they have a good experience in this class so that they can tell their stories, get internships, jobs after this with this experience? And so the last week and a half has been very interesting, very exciting, very nerve-wracking, but it's all coming together and we're very excited.
Where were you at 7 a.m. this morning, Sylvan?
Oh, I was at St. Julian this morning. I got to go watch the bottle be labeled with my art, which was an insane moment. So exciting. It was like kind of surreal. I actually got there and there was a little bit of a hiccup, but that was just one of the like iteration processes, one of the learning by doing. It's all good, everything's set, but it was a great experience to be there for.
So, Doug, I think we also got to send a big thank you out to John and Apollo and the whole St. Julian team for helping educate our students with us along with the process. You know, Tyler said biggest, oldest winery in Michigan, willing to partner with our students and launch this amazing product extension. And big thank you to Imperial and Silvio, who have been with us along the way with this project and really help educating our students in what we consider a new educational model for business and learning by doing. So any final thoughts before we listen to the interview, Doug?
No, I mean, I think you nailed it. I mean, I think this is education for mutual benefit. Students are learning, alumni can feel proud of their great university. You know, businesses are benefiting. St. Julian is going to be involved. It's a great big win, as our great mentor Dick Hayworth would say. And so I guess with that, Tyler, you should introduce our guests, or segue over, and then we're off into the podcast. So go ahead.
All right, we're off. Yeah, definitely very appreciative of St. Julian. Excited to hear what our great listeners think about this conversation. So with that, please enjoy our conversation with Apollo and John Braganini.
The Jungle is produced by the Center for Principled Leadership and Business Strategy in Western Michigan University's Hayworth College of Business. Our center supports the leadership and business strategy major, conducts large-scale consulting projects, and trains professionals in acquiring and operating small businesses. To learn more, visit wmich.edu/leadership center.
Hey, so we've got myself, Tyler Ernst, today, joined by Sylvan Benton. We're actually going to be replacing Doug and Derek, the traditional host for the Jungle podcast today. So Sylvan, want to say hi?
Hi, everybody.
Yes, and we've also been joined here by Apollo and John. Can you guys give some quick intros?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm John Braganini. I'm the president of St. Julian. And this company has been in our family for 100 years.
I'm Apollo Braganini. I'm the vice president of sales here at St. Julian.
That's fantastic. So a little background on me and Sylvan really quick. I am a junior student here in the LBS program. I've been working on the Bronconess project since back in January. Started working with Apollo and John back in February when the entire Bronconess St. Julian partnership project came to be. Sylvan, want to give a quick rundown on your role with the project?
Yeah, so I am a junior product design and business strategy student at Western right now. And my main role with the project has just been designing the label, working with Matt White at St. Julian and Cindy at LTI Printing, everyone just to make sure that the bottle is out for everyone to see.
Yeah, really, really excited. There it is. There we have it. That is what we're here today is the Peach Bubbly sparkling wine with Bronconess and St. Julian. So actually, I think it's appropriate if we start with some cheers. Super excited for that. So cheers to Apollo, John, and Sylvan. I've got my coffee here.
Delicious. It is good.
Good. Awesome. So yeah, thank you again for joining us today. How about we just get started and talk a little bit about something our listeners are always focused on is what leadership takeaways can they learn from leaders pivoting during the crisis. So could you guys put a little color on how St. Julian has approached the pandemic since it started back in March?
Yeah. There was some synchronization of timing in certain events that allowed us to enjoy a lift during the pandemic. So we had been working on developing our digital marketing effort for about a year and a half, and that required us to coordinate our product offerings with our website and to create a fulfillment department so that we could pull it all together. And just as we were completing that process, COVID hit. So we immediately had a significant lift in our direct-to-consumer business, and then we came behind that with every reactive and creative response we could to be able to deal with our tasting rooms being shut down. But so there are three pieces of it. We were able to maintain our retail volume because of our shipping department. Apollo's team did an outstanding job of making sure the distributors kept the shelves full in the grocery stores because there was panic buying for at least a 2-month period of time. And there's two things that you need during a pandemic. One is toilet paper, the other one is wine. So we were able to execute that carefully. And then we also collaborated with a number of distilleries during that period to supply them with high-proof spirits so that they could make hand sanitizer. So we took advantage of every opportunity that we could, and because of the business that we're in, we did okay.
I'll just add to that. In the wholesale channel, the world that I live in on a day-to-day basis, we're primarily an off-premise brand. So I say off-premise, I mean grocery stores, liquor stores, convenience stores, anywhere besides restaurants. So the impact of all the restaurants closing down, while it affected our tasting rooms in terms of how we can taste wine in person, things like that, it helped our distribution sales because of the markets that we focus on. So it was when all that alcohol gets stopped selling in a restaurant, it picks up in the grocery stores and the liquor stores, and that's where we're predominantly set.
Okay, gotcha. And for those listeners out there who may not know, St. Julian is the oldest and largest winery in the state of Michigan. So Apollo, John, if you guys could you shine some light into what it's like actually making those decisions, as the largest and oldest winery in the state, where, it's not like it's not just, a sole focus on wine, but you're also have that greater community impact. So what's that decision-making process look like?
Well, when you're being the oldest winery, simply means you didn't make enough mistakes to go out of business over the years. And that you've made some of the right decisions to continue to grow. So the time element speaks for itself. But when you're as large as we are, you're not efficient unless you have critical mass. And so we have to, every decision that we make includes volume, and we do a lot of decision making through committee here, and we have an exceptionally experienced and capable staff that's got great creative energy, and so we pulled together and just took it one day at a time.
Yeah, and for the size that we are, ability that we have to be nimble and make quick decisions and turn things around is amazing to me for how quick we can implement something and then get it operational. Hand sanitizer is a great example of that. If you guys remember, in March, April, hand sanitizer you couldn't get any. It was sold out. It wasn't available. So Nancy said, "Hey, we can do this. We can make it." And we had a 8-spout filling station within a week, and we were cranking out thousands of cases of that stuff while it wasn't available. So there's probably not a lot of move that quickly to change what they're doing. So it's pretty cool to watch.
That's definitely one of the best parts about this whole situation, is seeing all the creativity and innovation out of it. and it's awesome to see like what St. Julian did to contribute to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see different companies that, the pandemic hits, they're not really sure what to do. There's basically two options. Either you view it as an opportunity to grow and impact people, or you can kind of just shrink up and be afraid and not capitalize on it. So great to see St. Julian working on that. One thing about Bronconess is our definition is actually courage and enthusiasm in a challenging situation, especially when sustained. I think that line right there is very relevant to the times we're currently in. So could you guys share some insight into what that definition might mean to St. Julian?
So you probably, your whole career here has been courage and enthusiasm with tough circumstances.
Yeah. So our family has owned and operated this company for 100 years, but it was the branch that Apollo and I are in took over 4 years ago when my brother died unexpectedly. So we were on different career. Apollo and I were on different career paths at the time, and we had to make a decision with what to do with the company. And so we've been living in a baptism of fire, 4.5 years for me and 2 for him. And it's no different than anything else that you do, or what, it's no different than what anybody else is experiencing right now. We're not sure what the new normal is in education, in manufacturing, in services, and things of that nature. So, but my whole career has always been about you wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning expecting my marketplace to be disrupted, and I'm rarely disappointed. And I raised my son to see the world in the same cynical way, and we're never left without drama here.
Yeah, every day is definitely a challenge, especially over the last 8 or 9 months. It's been one thing after another. I mean, we just had the order take effect today that in-person dining and tasting is no longer allowed. But that's just another example to watch our various tasting room managers implement our strategy around those rules. So we follow all the rules to the T, but we try to be creative with what we're offering, the experience that you can have within those rules. So every day, everybody that works here is very enthusiastic with what they do. It's a great part of the reason it is to work here. Reason why it's great to work here, and it's great to watch. It's great to watch those ideas manifest and how quickly they can be implemented. How creative people get. It's pretty cool.
So starting today, we have curbside pickup, curbside sales. We have cocktails to go. We have wine glasses to go. We have discounts on just about everything that we have in our portfolio. So we'll move right through this, and we'll look back and say, what a great plan that was.
Fantastic.
Definitely a lot of great learning opportunities have come out of this for the students, especially. Like, running this brand through the pandemic has been such an interesting experience, let alone doing it without everything that's going on. So we're really appreciative of this partnership with you guys.
Yeah, you guys definitely got an interesting look at all the things that can delay a wine brand from the start of this. So it has been interesting. We're excited that the retail launch will be Friday. Hopefully wholesale soon. It will depend a little bit on what their workforce looks like throughout this. So, we've had a few hiccups here, but I think overall it's been moving along, and everybody's been able to do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do. So everything we can control, I think we've done a pretty good job together.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Yeah. So transitioning over to some focus on Bronconess, why we're here today, talk about the peach bubbly. Apollo, I believe you're the first contact point we started talking to back in February when we were looking at creating this product launch. Because our 3 current varietals are all imported from Santiago, Chile. which does not allow us to, ship outside of Michigan, which really, creates this challenge for us. We have so many great Western Michigan alumni who want to support our brand, want to get back to scholarships, but just don't have the opportunity to do that. So Apollo, could you shine some light on what got you guys interested in helping us at Western for Bronconess?
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty much as simple as you guys reached out to us, and it made a lot of sense, right? If you're already developing wine brands, it makes perfect sense to be with a West Michigan winery for Western Michigan University. And then added to that,
you'd never want to do it with a Central Michigan winery.
Right? Yeah, just to add on to that, I kind of lost my train of thought there with Central. Add on top of that, the learning opportunity, for you guys. Launching a wine brand kind of covers up a little bit of everything when it comes to business, from marketing, from design, to obviously to sales. It covers a little bit of all of it, and I'm just, happy to be asked and happy to help. So it just made good sense for us. Yeah.
And as far as with St. Julian as a partner, is there anything major that St. Julian is looking to get out of this partnership? You said the partnership makes sense. It's Western based. Paul is over here in the West Side. And any other thing major beyond that? Maybe like the whole higher ed learning impact, or the evolution of how Bubbly has been more high demand in the marketplace. Examples like that.
Yeah, I think that's the higher ed learning opportunities. Most of the decision to get involved with it is a way to give back and to help out a little bit. This is we'll do about 250,000 cases of wine this year, so we it's not a huge impact for us on a business from a business standpoint, but there's some work that goes into it. You guys have been a part of it for the last few months with us. Really, the goal here was to help you guys out in terms of your curriculum, and then to be a partner with you. I mean, there's some bragging rights there, and it's there's no reason why we shouldn't. If you're making wine, why it shouldn't be with us. So, yeah, wanted to help out, and then the opportunity to give back in the scholarship capacity. That's really cool too. So it's just a lot of different factors, and if we're very community based, if somebody in our community reaches out and asks for help, we usually do whatever we can to try to help out.
That's fantastic.
Sorry, Tyler. We mentioned some of the hiccups earlier. I was just wondering, and I'm sure our listeners are wondering what it's like working with students, if you've had any big surprises throughout this process, or, this is all of our first time going through this. So has it been relatively smooth?
I think it has been relatively smooth. You guys have been good with fulfilling your obligations, getting the stuff that we need from you. Hope that you feel the same way about us. It's kind of a bummer that we didn't have the homecoming opportunities and some of the in-person opportunities that we talked about in spring, which are limited because of COVID. But no, you guys have been great to work with. You guys have been very professional. Punctual when it comes to the items that we request from you, and I think overall throughout our team, it's been a good collaboration. So I was actually pretty impressed with all you guys. I deal with brands all the time, or people that want to set brands up all the time, and you'd be surprised at how dysfunctional it can be.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. I know that STJ or St. Julian has some other private labels. How does that play into your overall strategy?
Sure. Yeah, we do a few different products for the state of Michigan. The bigger ones that we're successful with right now, Motu Vigier Champagne in Grand Rapids. That's a new brand that's been up and coming. Those guys are doing a really good job of starting that one and really building that brand. Michigan Awesome products that you see on the shelf, we produce. Those would probably be the I Am Detroit, I Am Grand Rapids. Those are very popular. We just expanded those through I Am Indianapolis, I Am Cleveland, I Am Cincinnati. So we're doing a whole bunch of that stuff. The private label gives us an opportunity basically to pick up extra business, really. So you got people that come to us with ideas and, labels and things like that. And we try to bring it into fruition. So I probably talk to 10 or 15 of those people a month. And, more often than not, nothing ever happens with it. So those examples that I just listed are, people that saw it through to completion, and have really grown. So we offer a unique ability to not only make the products, but make sure logistics are figured out, make sure they're getting on the shelves, making sure everything needs to be done happens, and on top of a excellent product every time. So I will talk to anybody when it comes to private label and try to put something together. It's just a lot of, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's a lot of hurdles, as you guys, as you saw. It's something that we're constantly trying to improve on and constantly trying to increase or expand.
We are very, very grateful to be one of the private labels that has been seen to fruition for our launch on Friday. It's so exciting.
So exciting. And to speak a little bit on the actual impact here, it's not like we're just partnering to sell a great product, but really the whole impact comes back to, all right, during the first year of our launch, we actually raised $35,000 in scholarships. And now through this partnership, we'll be able to ship to over 38 states in the United States. We'll also have product on shelves here in Michigan, also available for pickup at St. Julian tasting rooms, and also available on St. Julian's website, available for e-commerce, which is really great, especially right now during COVID. If you're trying to stay home and just really leverage those e-commerce capabilities. So definitely the impact is going to be going on for years to come through student scholarships, and we're really excited about that. I think to be good to transition here over to talking a little bit more about the actual impact from the project on higher learning. You guys mentioned that one of the reasons you partnered was because of that. This could really help with our curriculum, help us learn and grow as professionals. So I'm curious from Apollo and John, your perspective on how do you guys see that whole learning by doing model impacting the future of education?
Well, I'm a great supporter of higher education, and I don't have a real active relationship with Western. So that was one of the things that I was looking to get out of this. But we have opportunities whenever we have opportunities to do internships with students, or somebody contacts me to engage in some collaborative activity with the students, we would always say yes under circumstances. So for a number of reasons. One is that we're community oriented. We're an arm to table organization. We're dedicated to Michigan, and particularly West Michigan. But more importantly, we have roughly 100 employees, of which I would say 30 or 40 of them are in your age group, and that's a huge pool of creativity and energy and talent. So we look towards higher education to provide some of the answers that we are looking for in demographics, in marketing, in targets, and product development. So you guys are a big part of the consumer market, and you're smart. So we're looking for help.
So yeah, I'm a business major as well as John is. A lot of these, I can't speak to your college experience, but we didn't have anything like this when I was going to school. And I think the hands-on approach is always the best, right? You get to actually see what goes into a specific field or a specific occupation. And it really kind of opens the doors of a real world versus textbook learning.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the program here at Western is that it's not just in a classroom with quizzes, lecture, multiple choice, but it's actually you're getting put on a real business project. Me and Sylvan are here talking to the vice president of sales and a president of a company that's not something that's traditionally provided for an education model. So that's a fantastic opportunity. And I think one example of that is actually how the label came to be. So Sylvan, you want to talk about that real quick? And Apollo, it actually might be helpful if you hold the bottle up real quick while she touches on the label.
Yeah, so this label is a learning opportunity in itself. I've never done this before. I've never even really put my art out like that before, and I'm sure most artists will agree with me. Putting your art out is like a very vulnerable thing, so I was a little bit nervous about it, but it's come to fruition, and there were some hiccups along the way, but I'm so excited about it. This specific label was a process of me hanging out in my dining room all night, just trying to come up with like, what should go on this bottle? How do I align with the previous bottles? What would make the Bronconess brand stand out? What does the Bronconess brand mean? So we actually had a label before and it didn't come through, which is totally fine, but it was more of a celebratory horse or a celebratory Bronco. And this label, I think, encompasses like courage and enthusiasm, especially when sustained. I think it's got a little bit of a darker vibe, a little bit of a, not darker, but we're going to get through this vibe. And I like it for that reason, for all of 2020 and just what everyone's experiencing right now. What is your interpretation of the label, John and Apollo?
I like the label. I mean, I watched you go through a bunch of different rounds, and we had settled on one that we couldn't use, and I think you put it all together nicely. I think the idea to put matte black foil on it was the right choice. I think it all kind of falls together real well, and it goes really well with the other wines in the current brand, right, or in the line right now. So I think you did a good job. I think it looks a little different than a lot of the stuff you're going to see on the shelf, and people pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, there were several reasons why we chose the peach bubbly, but I think one of the main reasons was that it really is a supplemental piece to our current line of varietals, where this is a very a good celebratory edition. So it's like, whether it be it's a Bronco game day, or it's Thanksgiving, or it's Western homecoming, or the Christmas holiday season. This is a great one for Western alumni to gift, and like we said before, all those places to pick it up at. So definitely happy with how that label turned out. Sylvan put a lot of time and effort into that, and I know Apollo and your team gave some great feedback to get us to that point. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, you guys did a good job.
Yeah, I think another thing about it is we were actually talking to Derek about this the other day. LBS is all about finding ways to celebrate when you're not winning, because it's easy to celebrate when you're winning. And so aside from Christmas and New Year's and all these things that are just obviously a reason to celebrate, I think this is a reason to just celebrate that you got through the day, or celebrate that something good happened, just like the little things.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. So I'd like to offer it up for Apollo and John. Any last words about the project or this experience before we transition over into rapid fire questions?
John, you anything?
No, I would say use this experience I would encourage you to duplicate this experience and do it with some other consumer products.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah, just go ahead.
No, you'll learn it. You guys will learn a ton.
Yeah, and I would say thank you, for the opportunity to team up with you guys. It has been fun to work with you. It'll be fun to keep going once this stuff gets moving. We're looking forward to having this available on our website at stjulian.com and available in our tasting rooms to pick up starting Friday. And then we're really looking forward to getting it on the shelves across the state as well. So it's all coming together, and it's nice to finally see it.
It's so great to finally see it.
Awesome. So let's wrap up with some rapid fire questions here. How this will work is I'll ask a quick question, and then you guys give me a quick, just maybe 1 or 2 word response. Just don't put too much thought into it, but just kind of whatever comes to mind first. And we got about 70 of these. All right. Are we ready?
Sure.
All right. Favorite leader?
Favorite leader?
Yep.
I would say Nick Saban or Les Miles.
Okay. Courage or compassion?
Compassion.
Speed or accuracy?
Accuracy.
Great ideas or great execution?
Great execution.
One word to describe your leadership, Apollo.
Fluid. Learning.
Cool. Red or white wine?
I like red.
Cool. And this question, our listeners always love to hear. If there was one animal that really illustrated your leadership style, Apollo, what would that animal be?
A lion.
Lion. Fantastic. Why a lion?
That was a sales philosophy that I've used in previous business endeavors for a long time. Basically, the way that they work together to take down their prey. So
There you go.
but everybody needs to come together if they're going to be successful.
Absolutely.
Honey badger.
Honey badger. Okay.
What's the reasoning for the honey badger?
What's the reasoning?
They're the most ferocious animals on earth.
I like it.
There we go. Well, thank you, Apollo and John, so much. We're so excited for the Bronconess Peach Bubbly release this November 20th. Go make sure to follow us at Bronconess Wine. Follow St. Julian Winery, Instagram, Facebook. Find us there for more updates. So thank you both for your time so much today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right.